So I think the best part about even the whole process of writing a book and talking to these women and creating an anthology of amazing stories from around Canada is that they don't have to be amazing stories. So I think that's something that I learned as well, is that the everyday folks that are out there just kind of living their life, going to work, taking care of their families, are also doing great things that are worth mentioning and worth celebrating. So I think that whole notion of you have to be achieving amazing things and uncovering new discoveries and accomplishing the best and being a CEO and doing all these things, those aren't the only women that need to be celebrated who are working in STEM. I think just the everyday mom who uses being a mom as her identity as well, and takes care of her children and makes maps and is like a GIS expert, which is geographic mapping. So things like that, where they're doing really cool things and their job is really interesting and fun, and what they like to do and what they studied is really interesting and fun, but their day-to-day life is just a very mundane life. Maybe mundane from our perspective because we're thinking of these amazing women, putting them on a pedestal, but really that imperfect role model is a perfect role model. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing that I learned through interviewing these women, is that they're not perfect and they're not out of reach from any person that's out there. They're just like us. They make mistakes and they maybe lost a couple of promotions and maybe they hate their job as well. Maybe they did all this stuff and they became a scientist or a doctor and they realized it's not really for them, and then they changed their career path, and that's fine too. So to answer your question about the common thread between all these women, I think the biggest one is that they've all been curious. And that's just a thing that they have. They're all very curious about what's out there in the world, what direction they want their life to go in, and they kind of have a handle on things, on either what they like or don't like. And it's been very inspiring for me as well, because sometimes things happen and you realize you kind of get defeated about it and you think maybe this is what life is going to be like forever, but it's really not like that. You always have to be curious and keep trying new things and explore all the different possibilities and options that are out there. Obviously some people have privileges that allow them a greater range of possibilities, and some folks might be determined by their circumstance or their income or their geographic locations or so many different factors. But even within that, within your constraints or within your privileges, what could you do and what could you try has been really, really impactful for me to learn from all these awesome people. And I hope maybe that can help other young children as well, and realize that there's important stories in everyone, even the people you run into on the street or people you see at the park, that everyone has a good story to tell and their own story is valid and valuable. So that's really kind of the biggest learning point, I think.